Hello and welcome to Crypto STC. I'm your host, KRJ Crypto, here to bring you the weekly updates on Bitcoin. We're going to come in and take a look at Bitcoin. Looks like Bitcoin is probably going to get some bullish action going on here, so I want to get in and take a look at some of these trend lines. We're going to start off on the weekly time frame. I'm just going to back up. I just like to run my trend lines across, see where we're going to end up. So basically just run them off across multiple places to see where we're currently headed. So we're bouncing between these zones right over here. So I got a low of somewhere around the 7,500 up to the anywhere the 33 to 35. So we'll zoom in and take a look and see where we're at. But one of the key things I just found is if you were to run an Elliott structure, the Elliott structure is based off the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And one of the rules is wave number 4 cannot cross below wave number 1. So if I'm looking at the bullish scenario, what I find is that this level across here is a similar structure to what we're currently looking at here. So if we get rid of a couple of these lines, if we look at the bullish structure, we can see that I've got a trend line right here. So if we take this into consideration, I'm not really counting on this being a major bull move, but this is the same structure we've got currently going on here. So you'd look at it more like this, as a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. So where would that take you technically? Use a Fibonacci retracement tool, and you can run this from here to here, and that would bring you to a price level of what everybody's been talking about, the 110,000. So this is a bullish scenario we're currently looking at. Does it line up? It kind of does. The Fibonacci's are not really playing too nice on this structure. If you pull it all the way up to this level right here, we can see these aren't lining up. This 0.25 level right here, I like it to be right at the top of this, if this were to play out in an Elliott 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 structure. So you pull that down to here, so it lines up, and it just does not line up too well. So this should be bouncing at the 0.25 level. This should be rejecting at the 0.25 level. In that case, we've only got a top of somewhere around 76,000. So I don't think that we're in this structure. So I do think that we're going to get a pullback all the way down to the 7,000 mark for several different reasons. One of the reasons is if we take a look at the BTC1, it's the futures chart, and we put on the daily. We can scroll over to this area over here. The Bitcoin futures chart has a special little tool they call the CME gaps, right? So we've got a CME gap right over here at this 25,000. This was going to be met, right? So we've currently closed all in that zone. So we got another gap that's open right over here. This should get filled right around the 28, 29,000 that I'm going to show you in a little bit. But we got one tiny itty bitty little gap that never ever got filled right here at this 9,000 zone. Now, everything before this has already been filled. So when you get a gap like this, it fills. So far every single gap in Bitcoin history has been filled so far, according to what I've looked at here. So this gap right over here is still technically open. So I'm going to go ahead and take a horizontal ray, throw that on there so you can kind of see where the price action currently sits. So that's our level right over here. That's our target level to be for our low. So how do we get to that low? That is a good question. Many different theories on how to get to that low. We're almost there now. We can stay inside structure. So if we wanted to draw a, let's say a big triangle like this, This would be a descending wedge. And that could bring us over to that level right around the October time frame. So we could get a massive run up here. This usually has to have 4 times in order to break this. This is a bullish wedge. And we're currently sitting in a very good place for it to come, pop up, hit up, and then continue upwards. That's what I think it's going to do. According to the structure we're currently looking at, you might even be able to pull that this way to get you a stronger push. But we've only got 2 hits right here. We need 2 more in order to break through here. So this level should be hit right around the, I'd say, December, November time frame, because it's running off of a 4-year cycle. So, but looking at the structure, if we end up getting a run to the upside, I'm going to show you that there's a measured move that you can put right off of this. And if you run it from this area, just guesstimating a breakout, I'm looking at 70 or 37,000 for the breakout. Pretty good level to be in. If you run a parallel channel and you throw that down here like this and then you run it up to here, that's going to bring you up to this level. So let's stretch this out a little bit, and then that'll break you right about this level, which is December. So December, we should maybe get a massive fall to the downside. That's just a guess on what we're looking at. You can also pull it up a little bit more this way, put you in a channel, and that would pull you right around them perfect levels right over there. How does that line up so well? How crazy is that? The center line lines up pretty well with some of the other price structure and where it falls. So we're going to get a nice pump up to this area right over here. This is perfect, right around the 27,000. Come down to this level right over here, which was a really big support line that we're about to break. So we're going to come up here, come down. If we can stay above this support line, we break through, and then we continue on up to this level right over here. So between the 36 to 39 K is a good place for me to be able to sit. So we'll just pull this out. I like using the Bitstamp, but most people are going to use the index. This is going to have the most amount of history. So if we come back to this, go ahead and delete this out. We'll start running our trend lines a little bit more. We're already on the daily, so let's go ahead and zoom in and take a look a little closer at where we're at and what's going on. So I'll come down to this price structure over here in a little bit. So let's go ahead and run just some basic trend lines on the down over here and see where we're at. So this is pretty good. You could have actually 2 hits right here. So you're going to have a 1, 2, 3, 4 times a break. So you're always going to start with 1. It's usually going to be the wick. And then the other ones, you're going to go through the wicks and go candle bodies only. So this can count as 1 or it can count as 2. It's pretty close together though. So depending on how close the time frame is, will depend on if this respects 2 or 1. But we're definitely going to get a push up at this level, which is the 26. If we pass that 25K level, that's going to be pretty good. We got some horizontal, nice structure to come across right over here. So this is going to be a good support to try to break through. It looks like you're already above this triangle, so I would expect to break out, come test this level, and then continue upwards. We are in a upwards trajectory. We took a breakout right here with a 1, 2, 3, 4 times a break. There's a 1, a 2, a 3, 4 times a break. You came over and you retested that line right there. So pull that down a little bit. Put this up a little bit. So right now we're going to be heading to the upside right over here. So we already got our Elliott wave structure is a 1, 2. This is a 3. We can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're going to head up to 5. So it's definitely going to come up here, and then we're going to get an ABC correction, and then we're going to get a push up to the upside and break through this triangle. It's been long awaited to break through this triangle. A lot of people are looking at it, but it certainly is a bullish ascending wedge. So once we break to the upside, where are we going to go? That is a good question. There is a lot of theories behind it, but I'm going to play it safe and be somewhere around this 39K zone. If we were to pull a Fibonacci from the top at 69 all the way down over here, I'm going to say the golden pocket or the 0.5 levels are definitely the two places of interest for me. This 0.75, or in this case, we're going to go ahead and reverse that. This 0.25 right over here, because we're on the way up, we're going to come up, probably get rejected off of that to come down and hit a retest. And then we'll head up to this golden pocket. 37K is a beautiful level to currently be at. So that's my projection. So we get a pop up here like this, come back down, come up here, and that's when we start trading sideways, and then come back down and start breaking these levels. All right. So why do I think it's going to come down to this level? Number one, this golden pocket is going to be a huge place for us to be able to reject from, but a little furthermore, if you take the chart and we get rid of this stuff, and then we go to the logarithmic, I'll switch back to the week. We'll zoom out a little bit, and we can see that this thing runs in these market cycles. Let's go over to the BTC USD. Let's go to the Bitstamp. This one has a little flatter line, make it a little easier to read. You see we had three major bull cycles. We had this one right over here, this one right here, and this one right here. So this wasn't the top, this was the actual top. And all the structures are pretty much the same. They just have a little bit of variances, like this hump right over here is actually this hump. This hump right here is actually this hump. So if you want to play this in a market cycle, this line right over here, we're going to make this one yellow. So this is going to be December of 2013. They're going to make this one December of 2017. And then we pull this one over here. We're in November, December. We'll bring this one right about November of 2021. So that's a 4-year cycle. So coincidental. Where would that put us to the next one? We'd be 21, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so November, December 2025. In theory, we'd be hitting our next all-time high. So if we put that in perspective, we can run a couple of channels and see where we could potentially be. You see, you got a nice break on that. Let's run these right across the top. I'm going to use move that over a little bit. I'm going to use the tops right over here to see where our channel is currently at. Put that down to here. And look, there's our $7,000 mark that we should be somewhere around the November, December 2022. So this is the area that we're going to drop at. But this is where the next bull cycle top is going to be. Where is that going to be if you put it in here? Usually this is a channel. Channels always do an over pattern type thing. So if this continues to come down and touch this, we should get a run all the way up to this level. Seems a bit much at 700. Yeah, that's a bit much. Is it possible? It is, but I think we're rolling over. I think we have to draw another trend channel right over here to be a little bit more respectful of the actual channel itself. So we'll push that down a little bit. We could probably run it all the way down here, depending on where we're going to end up. But for now, we'll just put it here, and I'll go ahead and turn this yellow. decipher the difference between the two. So now we have this rolling over pattern right over here. So we got our over, under, over. We would come back under, and then we're going to continue upwards. So this is the area that I'm currently watching. How far down will it go? Will we make 7K in the December time frame? So here's your 9,000, 10,000 mark. So this is where you're going to fill your gap. So this is a good little channel to be able to look at. These wicks are always here for a reason. They always come at some of these crazy levels and they always line up perfectly. So I love the wicks because they tell your future price action whenever you're running these charts. It's crazy. But if you use these right over here, you don't let that touch, that's going to bring you right around this November time frame. So you're going to get a push up and then a fall, and then you'll probably roll around this area before you start to take off again. But between this 7,000 and 10,000 marker, that's going to be a major buy zone. It's also a huge support area right over here. You can see all this crazy trade action right over here. So this level right over here is going to be massive to try to break. So this is the area to currently look at for a target area for it to come back down to. So we have all the tops on the put this back over here. That'll put us back to our December 2013. So if we take another vertical line and we put this right around the well, let's go ahead and take this one. So this is going to be December 2018. So we'll make this one red because this is going to be the bottom. You put this December 2014. We'll put this over to January 2015. So we'll go ahead and move this over a little bit to January 2019, just so we can be on similar paths over here. So it's a 4-year cycle. So if we bring this over here to December of 19, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 22. So we'll put this right around the January of 2023. So the November, December time frame is when we're going to get our drop. We're going to get our drop. We should get our drop sometime around that as well. So this is our time frame to be looking at. It should scoop. We see these scoops all the time. Scoop, scoop, scoop. I don't believe that this price action should have actually happened. It should have been like this, where it just rolled completely over. This was all manipulation, so the price should have actually rolled over under. This one right here should have rolled under. That's why you get that massive wick right there. And this over here, we're about to get our drop. So we got one of the drops already, but this should roll under. It should be the same projection as you see on the 4-year cycle. So that's what I'm predicting. I think we do get a run up to somewhere around this level right over here. We'll let that big level play out and see where we go. If we zoom in a little bit closer to see where we're at on the current chart, we'll take the log off and then we'll go ahead and throw it on the 4-hour. We'll zoom in a little bit on our current trajectory. So we've got our 69K, just this big drop down over here. So we just want to put a trend line on here so we can get a reference of whereabouts we're going to be. And then I have some indicators. We're going to throw them on really quick. So we'll go ahead and pop this one on. A little trend indicator with the RSI. And then we have these. So this is my triple ribbon. The triple ribbons give me 3 different massive time frames, and it plays a pretty good role whenever they start to scoop under the price. This is 3 different ribbons, all different price actions, and all 3 of them are now scooped underneath of the price, kind of like what you got here, kind of like what you got here. You always get this pop up. So bring this up to the daily and see where we're at. So on the daily, the ribbon played out pretty nice where it didn't drop below this area on the big one, and now you're still up here. So we have a range of somewhere between the 33,000 and the 44,000. I think it's going to drop down a little bit. So the 39,000, 37,000, I think that where this thing is going to start to fall down. So these 2 have already scooped underneath of the price, and that is pretty big. So these right over here are going to be pushing that price up pretty awesome. We've already flipped to the blue, so we went from red and now we just flipped to the blue, kind of like we did here. And the really fast ribbon has been going through it, and now we've scooped under that. So now I think we're going to get a big push up here. So I think from 23 to 27, it's just going to be a smooth push all the way up. So we'll take that one off the chart for the time being. We'll go ahead and look at the a couple of the other indicators I got. The wavy trendy. This one over here, the MA indicator still looks really good. And we'll put these on as well. So these are all wave trend indicators, just mostly MAs. This right over here actually give you a good ribbon. The ribbon is a really good indicator that it's going to push in a certain direction. So if we go down to the 4 hour, we can see that this this trend ribbon right over here, this hull ribbon gives it a really big push whenever you get this to the upside. Like all this contracting right over here. So these are a whole bunch of people that just did not want to trade. Nobody wanted to buy, nobody wanted to sell. So it was kind of hit or miss on which way you were going to actually go right here. But we ended up getting a 1, 2, 3, 4 times a break. We can still come back down for a retest technically, but I'm not sure it's going to do that because the price structure looks like it's going parabolic. So that's where you run your trend line up this way and you got 2 solid touches. You run your trend line from here, run it up, 2 solid touches. You do the same thing right here, you get 2 solid touches, and then it's kind of rolling up. So this thing comes over here and touches this line again and then takes off. You're looking at a major bull run to this area. Let's pull it off of here. It might be a little close. Our last trend line is going to be right over here. So either we can run straight up like this and then continue to follow that, or we can pull it down over here and give a little bit more conservative of a run. So we'll let that one play out. These parabolic indicator things, they work in certain perspectives, but don't ever trust them to be accurate. I'm just kind of showing you what kind of direction it looks like it's heading to, but there's a lot of power getting ready to pop on this one. All these indicators right over here are in my Discord, so if you leave me a like and a follow, go into the description and you will see the link to access the Discord. That's where I have all this stuff. And if you get into the VIP, then you'll get access to all this stuff for free in the VIP. Otherwise, the indicators are individual charges. So when you pull these off, you can see the difference in all the different ones. These ones have the trade signals on it. We can certainly do that with this one right here, which is kind of my go-to. I just need this one for all of my trades, and I should be able to do everything. You get your MA indicator that scoops underneath the price. You've got these that kind of give you a reversal direction. And if you click on it, you can go into inputs, and then you can turn these on and off. And they actually show you all the buys and sells. Not only do they tell you the buys and the sells. But if you go into the indicator and you right click on it, you can add alert, and then under the alert you're going to get the buys and the sells. So if you say go ahead and tell me when it's going to be bearish, you can say once per bar, and you click on create, and now you're going to have an indicator alert to when one of these pops up. It's automatically going to send you a text message or email and let you know that, hey, it's going to turn around and go the other direction. So you have these, which are really, really fast, and then you have the other ones, which are fire and ice. So the objective is to be able to adjust this. Every asset, every thing is going to be a little different. So I made this indicator super easy to use. This is going to be the fire and ice waves. So we can just turn that down and it will make the waves a little tighter. And this wave is off of the relative index. Most of the indicators, they don't really tell you what they are. These ones give you all these different ones. I've even added these special ones, which are custom. You're not going to see these anywhere. So relative times 3, so this will give you a little bit more of a respectable type of power. So you just want to turn this down to that level. And when it does a crossover, it's going to give you a fire or an ice. You're going to get a lot of these, so you're going to pay more attention to when it changes the color and it's going to start to roll over. In order to calibrate this right, you can see where this dips below. It did a good job here. It didn't do such a good job there, so you want to go ahead and adjust that so it's commentable. We're going to put this back to relative because that's what I like putting it on. But you want to make this so you don't get this little tip right here. So we just turn that up, and that's how we're going to calibrate it. One more. So 25 would be a good level, 26, 27, that's probably a really good level for this particular asset. Bitcoin we're currently looking at, so when this thing scooped over here and changed colors, you were already up here, so you're just going to be careful at where you're currently at. You're going to look for when this thing changed over, it was in a really good spot to be able to take a short or get out of your trade. For the people that are new trading, for all sake of purposes, don't short, because you could get stuck in a short and you could be there forever. If you are buying spot, which is what I would recommend, you could take a spot position buy right here, so you may get in right here, and then when this thing rolls over to red, that's when you can basically just sell. And then don't short, because if you short and it comes down here and you get stuck, then you're going to be continue to be shorted, stuck in that short. But this would be another buy opportunity. It came all the way up here. You can basically take profits or get out completely, and then get back in right over here, which is basically the same level. But you can see where it's coming in. So if you make this thing a little tighter and you don't use the crossovers, you get a pretty good indication of where you're going to cross over. So this one was questionable, but then it took a nice turn right here, and then you can use that all the way up. So you can make it tighter, you can make it softer, you can even switch over to the simple, which makes a different perspective when it goes straight up and it crosses, so you can kind of get in and out if you're scalping. So depending on what kind of trader you are, this is an all-around really good MA moving average indicator. So you can see that all the way across the board, that it's got two MAs. It's going to have the regular one, and then it's going to have this one. I called it the smoke wave. But if you wanted to change that from the smoke wave to a regular wave, you just turn these two on and it turns back into a regular wave, and then you can change it. You can do the same thing. So if you wanted to make this one of those, you can do the same thing. So you can have two different types of waves in here. Otherwise you just turn them back off, or if you ever messed up with any of the settings, you just click down here, say reset settings, and then we'll go back to the default on what I gave them to you at. So really, really good indicator. This one over here basically is just an RSI with colors and gradient. So it's just a cool looking RSI indicator. Easy to read. So obviously if it comes down and you're dipping down here, it changes over to blue. That's going to be a buy signal. Comes up here, changes over to red. That's going to be a sell signal. So you have one. This is going to be a little behind the times, but this is going to tell you when it changes over. That's why it's good to combine your indicators together. So from a Bitcoin's perspective, we are bullish. That I'm completely positive of. Where are we going to end up going? I think we have a couple of patterns we're currently looking at right now. So I'm going to put this in a channel. You can see you got this trend line right over here. I'm going to go ahead and delete that trend line. We're going to turn that into a channel and see how far we can push it. So we got this going straight up here like this, and put it up here. So we definitely hit in the middle of that line. That's absolutely beautiful. So you're going to come up here to this 25K level, which is perfect because we're looking at this being some rejection area. But there was one secret hidden little thing we've got, which is this right here. So if you take this and run it right across here as a trend line, look at that. That is amazing. Let's make this white and let's blow it up. So this is my wick. That's a 1, that's a 2, that's a 3. If this thing touches this line again, it's breaking right through. So if it breaks through this line, it'll definitely stay above it. So this thing I think is going to rocket up to this area. It's going to shoot right through it, and then it's going to come back and use that white line, which used to be resistance, and it's already been resisted 3 times, solid times. This is going to be the 4th one. So now it becomes support. So this is going to pop in here. It's going to pop up here, and then it's going to finally break through. So this is what I see coming in the next week. And this is all I have for your Bitcoin update for the week. Hope you liked it. Don't forget to leave me a thumbs up and a subscribe. Until next week, take it easy.